Hey, I'm Jay Kumar, the BassBlaster, and this is your Abu Garcia REVO Minn Kota Humminbird top 5 tips, teps, and tupies, tips, techniques, and trends of the month. Number 1. Alright, we all know forward-facing sonar is a major thing in bass fishing, and the jig head minnow, aka the Demiki rig, mid-strolling, whatever you want to call it, is its close partner in crime like
Batman and Robin.
So what minnows have the most wins and top 10 finishes on the top pro tours? Here we go, starting with the Zman jerk shads. When Gussie Gustafson won the 2023 Bassmaster Classic,
every fish I've caught, both tournaments, on a Zman jerk shad, 4-inch jerk shad.
Using forward-facing sonar with a Zman jerk shads on a Smeltinator jig head, the entire bass fishing world woke up to two things. One is that the moon landing was fake.
Right away, Houston.
Okay, that wasn't one of them. One was that the Zman jerk shad's floaty and virtually indestructible Elastec plastic helped it hang horizontally in the water in a way that fish just couldn't resist. So much so that Gussie won on the extremely tough Tennessee River with just 12 fish. I'm pretty sure that's the first time, it'll be the last, that the Classic is won without a limit on every day. Anyhow, the second deal that Gussie woke everybody up to was the word smelt. He fished that smelt color every day on that Smeltinator jig head. Man, unless you're from way up north, most of us thought a smelt was something like
that whoever smelt it dealt it.
Anyhow, believe it or not, Gussie was not the first Classic winner who pinged a minnow with forward-facing sonar. That was Jason Christie the year before with the Yum FF sonar minnow and jig head. But Jason used it as part of a 1-2 punch versus Gussie. That's all he did. When Gussie became the first Canadian snow leopard to win a Classic 100% pinging a minnow, Z-Man sold a gajillion jerk shads even in that smelt color. So what makes a jerk shads great? Well, it floats, it can be made to hang horizontally, which is key. It comes in several sizes, and of course it's extremely durable, like fish with one bait all day durable. It's still being fished today and getting high finishes in pro tournaments, even up to the 7-inch size for smallmouths, believe it or not. So that's the first minnow on our list. Now let's go to number 2.
Once upon a time,
Jacob Wheeler was sponsored by Guggen Baits, and then
everything just went dark.
Yeah, for a time, Jacob was sponsored by no one in the soft bait category. Now, that's a pretty rare deal for one of the best fishermen on the planet. And he was real hush-hush about it, like
a silent auction.
That's a weird guess, man, but whatever. Then it came out that one of his major sponsors, Rapa, was launching a new soft bait line that ended up being called CrushCity, and all the baits were designed by Jacob. Let's just say it's worked out pretty good so far. At this point, several top tournaments have been won by Rapala CrushCity soft plastics, starting with the Freeloader. As you can see from that picture, the Freeloader was originally designed to be a trailer, like on the back of a bladed jig or spinnerbait, hence the name Freeloader. But Jacob went out and won with it in 2023, before the bait was even outed to the bass fishing world, using it as a pinging or jigging minnow bait. After that, it was
Unlike Donkey Kong.
His next win, which was his 7th on the Bass Pro Tour, was won at Santee Cooper, South Carolina, also on the Freeloader. That was right around when two things started to happen. One is that his good bud and fellow Rapala pro Dustin Connell started popping off. The second deal is that they both started winning tournaments with a different CrushCity bait. That brings us to the next deal, but first, what makes the Freeloader so good? Well, it's strategically salted and floaty for that perfect Jacob Wheeler action. It has a pintail, which means that subtle tail movement, and Jacob and Dustin have won a ton with it. That's all you need, man. Now on to number 3. Only one minnow was hotter than the Rapala CrushCity Freeloader in 2024, and that was the CrushCity Mooch Minnow, which hadn't even been released yet. That was because that year first Dustin Connell won the MLF Redcrest Championship with it, and then Jacob Wheeler won at Dale Hollow with it. And since then, it seems like one or the other of those guys had been winning or finishing in a top 10 just about every Bass Pro Tour event with either the Freeloader, the Mooch Minnow, or both.
Sort of a mooching inventory. No.
Yes, it was mooching, Kramer. And man, did Rapa hit it right on the screws. The Freeloader came out just when forward-facing sonar got rolling, and then the smaller Mooch Minnow came out just when the downsized minnow for pinging trend just started. For a time, the combination of Jacob and Dustin beating the world with the Freeloader and Mooch Minnow, I believe made Rapala's CrushCity soft plastics some of the best selling in the entire world. Not bad for a new brand. And if you're wondering, 99% of the time those two guys fish those baits on the VMC hybrid swim bait jig head. Those two CrushCity baits are still two of the most popular minnows for pinging in bass fishing and continue to win and place high in big tournaments.
But wait, there's more.
Yes, there is, but first, what makes the Mooch Minnow so great? It's made of a floaty and super tough plastic. It does have salt in some places to make the action right. You can remove the tail tabs for a different action. And of course, Jacob and Dustin have won a ton with it. All right, let's go to number 4. You know what gives you wings if you're a bass fisherman? Well, it's not Red Bull. It's not one of those bird lures. It's this bait, which you might recognize better this way. Yep, that's the Deps Sakamata Shad, which has become one of the most used and most sought after baits for pinging a minnow. The question is,
Why?
well, this bait was actually developed in Japan well before this pinging a minnow deal even got going. Those wings by the head, they were put there to make it have sort of a rising, jumping action underwater for a Japanese technique called the shachi hoko rig, I think it is, which I believe means
jury-rigged metamorphosis.
Okay, I have no idea what it means, but fast forward to forward-facing sonar, and fishermen found out that not only does that Sakamata Shad roll, but it has a special roll. No, not that kind of roll. Yeah, that kind of roll. Or whatever kind of roll it does that the fish love if you do it right. Now, for one example, according to the Japanese guys, you need to use a 6'6" spinning rod. Now that's shorter than usual, but apparently anything longer than that is no bueno for that roll. So what makes it great? It rolls just right. It can be used with lighter jig heads, which is key. It's made of a literal top secret plastic, only Deps knows what that is. And it comes in many sizes from 2 inches all the way up to 7 inches.
Rock and roll. Rock and roll. Let's get it.
All right, that's all I got for you this time. There's a lot of good minnows, and those might not be your favorites, but the facts don't lie, man. Honorable mention for the Pro Tours so far would be the Strike King Z2, the Jackal Drift Fry, and maybe an up-and-comer is the Raid Fish Roller. Now, before signing off, I gotta shout out a couple sponsors of this deal. Humminbird and Minn Kota. Because every single Bassmaster Elite Series winner this year, including the Bassmaster Classic winner, has had Humminbird and Minn Kota on their boats.
Coincidence? I don't think so.
Me neither. All right, that's all I got for you this month. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Abu Garcia REVO and Minn Kota Humminbird. See you next month with the top tips, techniques, and trends. God bless you.